characters are rarely that predictable.
Rosemary Leach's recent role in the BBC drama Blood and Peaches proved her strength when taking stereotypes and turning them on their head, and one of them being that you are never too old for a first date.
Always remember, men are both hopeless and useless. That'll be him. Warren Beatty. Not. Can I say something?
Yes, please. By all means.
Your hair, it's not your own, is it?
Pardon?
It's a crown topper. It's a wig.
Well,
It's not important, really. Give it to me, there's a lot.
Sorry.
No, there's no need. I'm not that quick at coming forward, as you may have noticed. I think we should discuss your previous sexual partners. Soya milk?
Rosemary Leach joins us now. Good morning to you.
Hello.
Good
It's a
morning.
wonderful scene, both of them, in fact. So what about that line, if Rosemary is out of work, then television's in a bad way?
I don't know who said that. I think it probably was a long time ago.
If you are one of the best-known faces on the box, you know.
Well, I was, I think, when I was younger. Not so much
But
now.
you're not complaining, you're always working, aren't you?
Well, I worked a lot last year, yes, and you've seen a lot of me just lately. But I think that's probably everything that I did last year for the television has been seen in the first few weeks of the year.
You worked with Dawn French, of course.
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
Oh, she's enormous fun. Enormous fun.
What was that production called? It was the one about the nurse.
Tender loving care.
Yes, who was having her own go at euthanasia.
Yes.
You joined in a bit enthusiastically as well. didn't you?
Yes.
Were
yes.
you passing sort of notes to each other?
Yes, we did. Oh, we behaved like a couple of silly schoolgirls, Dawn and I, then. I hope you don't mind my saying that, Dawn. But we did. We sort of, as characters, when she wasn't speaking to me or I wasn't speaking to her, we'd pass little notes. Say, why are you not speaking to me today, Lainey? What have I done? You know, the way you did at school, when you fell out with your best friend.
Anyway, you're about to do a one-woman show.
Yes, well, it's a one-woman play, really. It's not a show.
I see. And when does this start?
On Monday night.
You started learning your words yet?
Just about.
Actually,
It's called Against the Wind, and it was written to mark the European Year of
The elderly.
The elderly.
Yes, which I think was 2 or 3 years ago. It was written by a young woman called Teresa Collins, she's extraordinary because I think she was dyslexic, so it's an extraordinary achievement. It's a nice play, and it's about a woman, a farmer's wife, who comes home from shopping one day and finds her husband dead in the yard, and as she said, I wouldn't have bought so
It's a great line. It's a great line coming up.
She said, I wouldn't have bought so much if I'd known. And she sort of, it starts off with how he has a shed that he's in, as men tend to do, little secret places where they go, and she was never allowed in. And so she discovers an awful lot about him, and it sort of reminds her of things in the past and how she has to cope with, the social security and her son trying to sort of put her in a home and things like that. Oh, it's very funny.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, I think
Doesn't
it's
she
an awfully
find
good
some
first day.
sort of extraordinary machine in the garden shed that almost transforms her life as well?
Well, I don't think it'd be telling
Right,
too much.
all right,
No, it's just half finished. Everything there is half finished, so...
Well, that's a typical man, isn't it?
Yes, it is rather, yes.
I think I better join in here, don't you? I would have thought it's a bit nerve-wracking doing a one-woman show.
Yes, it is. I really don't know why I'm doing it at this moment. I think I might have bitten off a bit more than I can chew. It's not quite the same when you're, getting a bit older to learn so many jokes. But, it'll be all right.
Before, actually standing on stage for all that length of time and just holding the audience captive on your own?
No, I think the longest time I was on the stage all the time in 84 Charing Cross Road, but there were other people, and there was exchange. But, no, I have to invent everybody. There are a few voices sort of off. And things like that, but...
It's quite fringe-like in the sense that you've had to go and get all your stuff yourself, haven't you?
Well, it is fringe. I was going to say, when in the trail you said it was West End, it isn't. It's
Richmond,
not
isn't
that
it?
it means it isn't as good. It's fringe in Richmond, above a pub.
Oh, really?
Am I allowed to say which pub? I don't know. Are you allowed to advertise?
We'll say it and
pubs?
we'll see.
Where the Duke's Head
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't say that.
No,
in
the vineyard in Richmond.
OK, well, we do wish you all the best with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming to see us
And
today.
may we never see you out of work, because we'll know something's seriously wrong with television.
Thank you for saying that, yes.
Right, we're going to get a bit of fresh air now. It's Friday, and the fact that spring has sprung, allegedly, means that many of us will be considering a spot of gardening this weekend. Now, if you want to get on with something a bit more inventive than weeding the beds and mowing the lawn, then Stefan is here with some food for thought. Morning, Stefan.
Good morning, Nick. Yes, there are few things in life's experience that can match the flavour of a freshly grown new potato. And a few weeks ago on Good Morning, I mentioned that you can grow them even if you don't have a garden. So I thought today I'd show you how. Now, the first thing you need is a container of some sort. This is a plant pot. You could use this before you plant up your summer bedding. Or, and perhaps simplest of all, is simply to find an old bucket. But if you're going to use an old bucket, you need to punch some drainage holes in the bottom, because it's terribly important, otherwise the potatoes will get waterlogged. Having chosen your container, you then need some compost. And this bucket I've 3/4 filled with a compost. Now, what I'm not using here is what I normally recommend, and that's a soil-based compost, because that's going to be very heavy. These things are going to have to be carried around. I'm using a non-soil compost, but not a peat-based compost. This is one with a non-peat, non-soil compost, a modern artificial compost. Then, of course, you need some potatoes. Well, you could simply buy a bag of potatoes from your supermarket, and if you open it up, you'll find things like this, the ones that you peel and use smashed for your lunch. Those aren't really suitable for growing. You can use them, but they're not as suitable as properly grown seed tubers. These are too big and they're bald. They haven't got any sprouts on. If you go down to your garden centre and buy a bag of seed potato tubers, now these are grown specially for planting, not for eating directly. And if you go down now, they'll actually have been on the shelf for some time, so they will already have sprouted. And what you'll see on them are sprouts like this, and that's terribly important. They need to be sprouted, and you really need an early variety. So grow a variety like Pentland Javelin, which will grow quickly. I like to take some of these sprouts off to leave perhaps just 2 or 3. Otherwise, you will get a lot of weak shoots rather than a few strong ones. Now, in a bucket this size, I would plant 2 or maybe at the most 3 of these tubers, and I'm just putting them onto the compost like that, and then the compost can be filled up to the top. So the potatoes are buried. They're buried. You know what those are?
Sprouts, tuber sprouts.
Almost. They're
well,
tubers
potatoes.
with
Should we start with potatoes?
Tubers with
yeah,
sprouts.
Yeah.
I'll put them in the bucket. Now I'm going to fill that with compost, and then that needs to be stored somewhere reasonably warm. If you've got a greenhouse and you keep these watered and fed, you'll actually get a crop within about 10 weeks. If it's got to be outside, then maybe 12 weeks. But as the sprouts emerge, you need to pull more compost over them.
Protect them.
To protect them from frost.
But is that enough space? Potatoes sort of spread, don't they?
Well, out in the garden they'll spread, but in here, give them plenty of food, plenty of liquid fertiliser, you'll get a good crop in there. And the first potatoes that you have grown yourself would taste like nothing else you've ever had.
Yeah.
That's
Can I just say,
yes, you can.
At this moment,
you can.
I was once a professional potato picker.
Is that correct?
There you are. Yeah.
And a lot of good it did to you. Don't know the difference between a tuber and a sprout.
Ah, that's a slightly disappointing reaction.
If you if you want to do things on the grand scale, as I'm sure you would, being a man of grand design, a dustbin's what you need.
You're joking?
No, a dustbin. This is an old dustbin, and I've again made some holes in the bottom of it, and I've half filled this with compost, right? Now, in here, could you just pass me a sprouted one?
A sprouted tuber.
Yeah, and how many sprouts do you need on them?
Not too many. You need to get rid of some of the weak ones. Just 3 at the top, sort of thing.
You were listening.
You're quite surprised, aren't you? But you've got to remember,
Yes,
I was
I'm
once a
astonished.
professional potato picker.
Yes, so you tell me.
Have I mentioned that?
Yes, once or twice.
OK. I used to stand on the back of a thing that went along, and they used to get thrown up, and I was picking out the good ones and throwing away the jammy ones and stuff. It was really good.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I hope they paid you well.
And about $5 bob a week, you know.
Yeah. Well, why did you give it up for this? Now, in here, a layer of potatoes...
Tell me if I'm boring you.
A layer of potatoes halfway up the bin, right? Comme ça, OK? And maybe 4 around the periphery.
Yeah.
6 inches or so of compost on top of that. Then another layer of potatoes.
Oh, really? Like a multi-storey car park?
Exactly so.
Yeah.
Except you find your way out, they can find their way out of this one. Could I have another one, please?
Let me borrow.
Go on. And then another 6 inches of compost and another layer on the top. So you've got 3 layers.
Yeah.
Why do you think I've got 3 layers?
Well, is it so they come up at different times?
Good man. You didn't pick potatoes for nothing,
But
did
do you have to use different type of potatoes?
No,
Because,
no. The important thing is all you need to choose is an early variety, and it doesn't matter which early variety you choose. The early varieties are quicker growing.
Yeah.
And you must also keep them watered, and you must keep them well fed.
Okay.
This is a flower fertiliser. It doesn't really matter what you use, so long as it's a liquid fertiliser. Keep them watered, keep them fed, and cover the sprouts up as they poke
Okay,
through.
Stefan, we'll leave it. Just briefly, are they expensive, more expensive than a normal spud?
Yes, you pay about £2.50 or £3 for a bag of those, but the fun you'll get from it, Nick, is boundless.
I'm convinced. All right, Stefan, thanks very much. Stefan will be back later for our phone-in, but he's answering questions on anything to do with the garden. A general spring gardening clinic with Stefan. The number to ring, 0121 415 5000, and we'll see Stefan again about 11:30. Thanks.
You will.
Annie.
Thanks very much. You can tell why they call him Professor Stefan Buchatsky now. It's all highly scientific stuff. Quick reminder that our special guest just after the 11 o'clock news is Prime Minister John Major. And can I say hello to this man? Very special. This is Kenneth Hymas, and he's 75 today. Now, this comes with special love from Pauline Moles from Portland in Dorset, because she said, he's my dad, and he's possibly the oldest working lollipop man in the country. And the school children call him Captain Birdseye in the summer and Father Christmas in the winter. And all the family send their love to him and hope he has a great birthday today. Happy birthday, Kenneth. Great. You look wonderful with your lollipop there. Now, if you can't flex your muscles in the garden like Nick was doing just there, Susan Kane is here with some tips on other ways you can work out for the weekend. Today she's in Blackpool for a dramatic end to the week.
Get ready! We're gonna work that body!
Good morning from the Grand Theatre in Blackpool, where we're treading the boards. Joining your quest for fitness are the cast from Hull Truck's Passion Killers and the young at heart Friends of the Grand. Well, are you ready to move on up? Okay, we're going to start with a march. Make sure you're standing nice and tall. All right. Now you may recognize some of these faces. They're going to be touring around the country. Walk it forward. Let's go. Turn and take it back. That's good. Now really use the space that you've got. Big steps. Come forward. Get the chairs out of your living room. Good. Just one more time. That's good. Take it forward. And take it back. Last time. Now we're going to pump it on your right side. Now give me 3 taps on that right leg. And on the left. That's good. 3 pumps. Good. Now if you want to use the arms, make it a little bit more energetic. That's good. Now we're going to slow it down. Slow it down. Point it, take it back to the side, and clap. Now I'm sure you can follow this at home. And again. In the front, behind, to the side, and clap. In front, behind. Now we're going to speed things up a little bit. Here we go. Hup, ho. And again. That's it. Last time, walk it forward. And take it up and turn. Now if you don't want to turn, just walk forward and back like me. Do it again. Take it up. Good. And take it back. That's it. 3 pumps on the side. Let's go. Press it down. Do it again. Come on, get those feet moving. Bring those knees up. 2 more, 2 more. Last time. Take it forward. And turn. And take it back. Good. Just one more time. Come on, really get those feet moving. And take it back. Good. And march here. And march. Now, we're going to finish with this fancy step. Please join us. Take it across with a little hop in the middle. There's 3 steps. Across, and a 1, 2, 3. And a 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're going to keep going, walk back and forth. And I hope to see you again soon. Today's health tip has a fishy tale. Haddock, plaice and halibut, as served here, are low in fat and, as some of the locals say, stimulate the mind. However, mackerel and herring, some of the oily fish, are actually good to help reduce heart disease. So get down to your local fishmonger and buy some fish.
Yeah, it's very good for you.
Thanks, Susan. And while we're talking fitness and so on, good luck to everyone running in the London Marathon this weekend. I admire you greatly.
Yeah, you're not
doing
running.
that, are you? Not this time, I'm not. No.
1st of April tomorrow. Reminds me I must have a baby. Was it that was the due date.
Oh, yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. It is the 1st of April anyway tomorrow. Yeah, and as well as bringing mayhem in the way of April Fool's Day, April is reputed for its wet weather. We've got one more day to go. Just how do you keep dry, though?
Yeah, Macs aren't generally seen as the most trendy of garments, and though I'm very fond of mine when I fold it up, I look at it lovingly every day.
Do
Anyway,
you?
in fact, they have a pretty poor image all round, don't they?
Until now. The fashion catwalks in Milan are to be noted. Slip sliding away in the wet has never been sexier.
Let it rain, 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 let it rain.
Sorry.
You're not allowed to do that yet. Anything might come apart.
Contraire, I think I ought to. Do you mind? Abreast of the situation, no, I'll rephrase that. Across the situation, as ever, Daily Mirror fashion editor Ollie Picton-Jones.
Yeah, and hello, Ollie. And look, I have a very up-to-date magazine here, which shows a picture of you holding an umbrella. Was we talking about umbrellas? I thought this was very relevant.
There she is.
Look at
Oh,
that.
look, I'm pregnant again.
I don't
That
remember
was
a
a very
time
long
when you
time.
weren't.
No, nor do I. That was a very long time ago. But
Who
umbrellas
were
are
you
in as
expecting
well.
then?
You see.
Who were you expecting then?
That was number one. I was
Oh,
expecting.
bless him. Oh, right.
I haven't worn that frock since.
Anyway, so we're
Yes,
going
they're
stylish
back.
with umbrellas.
Yes, and Macs indeed. The news story about Macs is they're shorter and sharper, very chic and belted, things
So
like
your
that.
legs get wet anyway.
Yes,
do they?
exactly.
Oh,
You just
right.
got to have an umbrella though.
Yeah.
Not necessarily waterproof.
Well, they're a bit of a fashion statement, umbrellas are nowadays, aren't they? 'Cause
They
you get
are,
all
yes.
sorts of trendy types.
Exactly. We've got some great ones to show you. Really nice.
Right, let's have a look
Okay,
then.
yeah.
Right, here we go. We'll
Our
start
first model?
off with Susan, our first model. Here she is, coming along with her fabulous little white Mac here, which is from a catalogue, Empire catalogue. This is hand washable, by the way. It's cotton Mac. Really smart little, and a transparent umbrella there and a transparent vanity case.
That's great. The transparent bit is great because you've got no excuse for poking someone's eye out,
Exactly.
have you?
You
'Cause
can see
where
when you're
you're
going with your
yeah.
umbrella down.
They were trendy a while ago and they're coming back in again
Yes,
now.
they're very. I mean, all these transparent fabrics are very, very new. They're coming back for this summer and next autumn.
I can't
winter
say
as
I'd
well.
go for the see-through handbag. Though. I mean, you like all your little bits and pieces to
but
be
you can-
secret, don't you?
But you can always find your pieces, though, can't you? No scrummaging around in your handbag.
Yeah, you hadn't thought of that, had
This
you?
is our sharp, chic look.
Shows the mess to
Quite like
everybody
Dior
else.
from the catwalks in Paris. Very nice, Susan. Black and white, very classic. Very important for
Yeah.
this, again, for this summer and into winter. And red, little touches of colour there as well, very important. And
Right, so
her
that's the
patent shoes, they're very important as well with this whole look. Very sharp and chic, aren't we, Susan? Very nice,
Thanks,
thank
Susan.
you.
Who's this, Keely?
Keely, yes, here's Keely. She's our young and trendy. Here she is, and what an umbrella. I love this umbrella, it's my favourite. Don't have to make a purchase, I think. Lilac's very important. All these pastel colours, if you're not going for blacks and whites, go for pastels. Nice little short belted Mac here, which is, it's in a nylon. All these are pretty much dry clean. This one you have to wipe yourself if you get caught or marks on it or something. Lots of lilacs underneath there, pants, and great umbrella, don't we think?
And that mixture of pastel
umbrella's
colours is
brilliant,
a
isn't it?
look.
Yes,
isn't it?
mix your pastels with your brights. Be bold and go for it. Doesn't this look brilliant? I really like this colour
I do like-
combination.
I do like the umbrella.
And
Yeah.
the plastic handbag again, very important. Little accessories like that. Mix your mint, your mauve, your yellow. Be brave about your colours. Really like that
plastic
one.
is acceptable.
Plastic is very important.
In fact, the cheaper
Yeah.
things look now, the more
More
expensive,
expensive
they
they
probably
often are, yes.
Yeah, that's going to be my excuse
Yeah.
at last.
That's
Been looking
ridiculous.
for that excuse for years.
Suzanne.
Now, Suzanne.
Suzanne's doing our elegant and ageist look here. She's got this lovely little Mac here, which is in rust. So if you don't want to wear those pastels, mint and mauves and things, go for rust, colours that you know suit you. With her colouring, it looks great.
That's a beautiful style, that Mac, isn't it?
It is, very, very classic, very wearable. And great umbrella there from Scotch House. How about that? And then if you think you're looking too dull with those browns, brighten up with the ubiquitous plastic handbag in bright
Yeah,
orange.
no,
It's
not
everywhere as well, doesn't it,
I'm
that
not
one?
convinced about that.
You're not sure about those plastic handbags?
would
Oh, well.
you?
I quite like them. I'd use one, yeah.
I don't mind the handbag. I don't like the colour clash. I think that's
Don't
a clash.
you?
Am I?
No, I think it looks good. I think it's really vibrant and interesting.
I love
Okay,
that. I love the
vibrant,
classic
interesting.
look. The classic look is really nice.
It's good, isn't
super.
it? She's got linens underneath there. Again, this is a dry clean coat, most of them are. And linen palazzo pants under there and a linen jacket. All the layered look's very important. As I say, anybody of any age could wear this, right up to, in your 60s. It's very elegant, isn't it, and timeless.
And
You like
genuinely
that one?
waterproof, is it?
Yes,
that
it
coat?
is.
Good. Quite important in the rain,
Yeah,
I've always
and it's a
thought.
very good point, I think, because not all Macs are genuinely
I know.
But
waterproof, are
our
they?
pièce de résistance coming
Yeah.
up here is waterproof.
I'm sure that's French.
This is this is our young and funky. Here we have Sonia. looking
My words exactly,
spectacular.
if I may say so.
What, young,
Young
and
and
funky?
funky,
Yes,
yeah.
very young and funky. We've shown a Mac for everybody here, and this is obviously for those teenagers and early 20s. It's actually in a snakeskin print. Plastic.
Righty, is
That's
it?
totally, just totally plastic.
It's plastic, yes.
Yeah.
It's got some cotton in it actually as well, but it's plastic. And ever so practical, I must say, because if you get any marks on that, you just wipe clean.
And the
Don't even have
skirt?
to pay for the dry cleaning on
Is
that
that-
one.
that skirt's
Little
just totally
skirt
plastic
is
as well.
incredible, isn't it? That's from Miss Selfridge. Little backpack as well. This is very 21st century. A lot of the shows that we just saw in Paris and Milan were looking forward to the 21st century. Very, very futuristic.
Yeah, but actually, they hark back to the 60s so
As
much
well,
too.
yes,
Sort of pop
yes.
I mean,
art
those
and stuff.
boots are real
Very
60s.
60s, yes. This is strong 60s look. All kinds of eras coming forward here.
And we nearly missed the backpack. We've got the backpack as well.
But lots of plastic, as I say. We have to get used to plastic because we're not going to see the end of it. It's here for next winter as well.
Don't you think the plastic is really for the very young, though?
Yes, I do, yes. I think that, the Russ outfit possibly, is probably more wearable for other people. Plastic is definitely very young.
So if
But
you've
the
had
bags, I
5
think,
babies, probably not a great idea.
I resent that remark.
No, it was hypothetical, I assure you.
Possibly reasonable, but I do resent it.
So, you can't leave your house in April without an umbrella, can you, anyway?
Exactly. These Macs aren't necessarily waterproof, but they're there for the look. As I said, the new thing is the length, because we're all used to seeing longer Macs, like the reporter's Mac. But this is the new length is important, and it's important what you wear it with as well. We've shown it with all different kinds of things, so something for everybody there.
And an Italian sort of influence, then, would you say?
Definitely, very Italian, yes. Dolce & Gabbana,
In fact,
Versace.
you like that, didn't you?
You've been swatting up while
I
I've been away.
have. I've been doing
He's doing his
fashion every
homework.
night.
He's been doing evening classes.
That's his excuse.
OK, Ollie, thanks very
Thank
much
you.
indeed. I must just say hello. Oh, I've lost it. I'm reading the wrong thing. Must say hello to a couple, Vera and Ken Lewis in Ealing. They've been 50 years wed today, right? They're the best,
Well
and I
done.
love them more than words can say, from their daughter Diane in Daffed. Also, Mr and Mrs James Mason of Trowbridge in Wiltshire, celebrating their golden wedding anniversary on April the 2nd. Their families send their love and best wishes. Congratulations to you all.
It's a long time to be married, but there's a story in today's paper about a man who could outdo
Quite
that.
remarkable. There's a man in China who has just died, aged 148. I do
Can't
find this
quite
hard to
believe it.
Well, yeah, because there was a lady in France the other day who died about 120, and she was meant to be the oldest person in the world, I thought. However, 140...
Until, what's his name?
He's grizzled. Oh, that's his description, not his name. Grizzled Gong Laifa, that's his name. He weighed 5 stone. He was just 4'8", finally beaten by an acute attack of hepatitis. Not old age or anything, hepatitis.
But he worked on the farm for about 120 years or something.
Well, yeah, he had to quit, actually. He had to give up because he'd broken his leg. But at that stage, he'd been working on the same farm for 117 years.
I think they got their money's worth out of him. didn't they?
133. He was said to have been born in 1847, excuse me, when Queen Victoria was 29. Luton Town hadn't gone professional for another 50 years.
My goodness.
That's, funnily enough, not in this story. The gold rush was beginning in California. Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights had just been published, and the world was still stunned by the death of the composer Mendelssohn. So there you are.
Incredible, isn't it?
It is. Anyway, he's gone but not forgotten, says the sun. That's his name, you see.
Brilliantly done, yeah.
It's clever stuff.
Yeah. Actually, yes, we'd like to hear from you, actually, if you know anyone who's... we don't usually get much past 104 in this country, do we?
No, I don't
We've
think
got much
so.
past 104 in this programme.
Yeah, we get a lot of requests to say happy
But
birthday
do let
to
us
people
know
who are
if you
100.
know anyone who really is heading towards their special telegram from the Queen.
Right, it is now fast approaching 11 o'clock. Don't think of moving. It is crucial. It's a very special day. You cannot afford to miss the rest of Friday's Good Morning.
Leader of the Conservative Party, nay, the country, Prime Minister John Major leads us into the second hour of Good Morning. He's here at 11:10.
The actor Jeff Daniels talks about his latest hit comedy, and that's at 10 to 12.
And nip your spring gardening queries in the bud on today's phone-in. Stefan Buchatsky will be back to take your calls at 25 to 12.
Yes, you can call him now. The number again is 0121 415 5000. Weren't you fascinated by what he said about spuds earlier? You
growing
can grow
spuds
them
in
indoors.
buckets. No, but
So I thought
your
they needed
question-
loads of places to spread.
Your question
Sorry.
doesn't have to just be about spuds,
No,
though.
a general spring clinic. But right now it's almost time for the latest national and international news. We'll see you later.
This Saturday night, check out the new lineup on BBC1 at 5:50 Big Break.
How'd you get rid of a boomerang? Throw it off a one-way street.
Then at 6:20, the Man of Steel.
I'd say she's got about 10 seconds.
Think you could get there in time?
Is he or isn't he as fast as a speeding bullet? New at 7:10.
It was all sewage going down the road.
People's darkest secrets are revealed when Simon Mayo hears their confessions. And after the draw for the National Lottery with an estimated jackpot of £19 million...
If this falls into the wrong hands...
It could be the end of civilization as we know it, yeah.
Brand new high-tech action and adventure in Bugs. A fresh look for Saturday night on BBC1.
Now on BBC1, the news at 11 o'clock with Jill Dando.
Good morning. Tory activists are gathering this morning for the party's annual Central Council conference in Birmingham. The party leadership is expected to use the occasion to launch a campaign aimed at regaining some of the ground they appear to have lost to Labour.
It's the one council that's safe from the opposition parties, and activists were arriving at it this morning, ready to hear cabinet ministers' speeches coordinated as never before. In the battle for council seats across the country, the Tories need to attack Labour's values, spray on, one said, and spell out their own.
We have 2 years to go, and people will feel the benefit from our policies, and we'll get people back, both as they see that our values, our very real values, are constant values, and that we don't change our values and our policies merely because of some political whim. We stick with our guns and we make sure that the country will benefit and therefore as a result our party will.
And Labour will come in for what's being called a really hard-hitting attack, with Mr Hanley saying Tony Blair's policies will set sex against sex, race against race, and in the UK, nation against nation. And as you've heard, the Prime Minister will shortly be appearing with Anne and Nick, proof of his party's determination to reach out to stop the navel-gazing, as one insider put it.
The Manchester United striker Eric Cantona is at Croydon Crown Court in South London waiting to hear whether he will go to prison for assaulting a fan. Several dozen supporters were at the court entrance to see him arrive for his appeal against a 2-week jail sentence.
Several dozen fans were on hand to shout their support for Eric Cantona as he walked the short distance to court from the hotel where he stayed overnight. The Manchester United star had waited a week to appeal against the decision to send him to jail for the attack on a Crystal Palace fan. The magistrate had told him the sentence was appropriate for a high-profile star who was looked up to by so many young people. Cantona was later released on bail to await today's appeal. He had admitted attacking the fan, but his legal advisers were hoping he would be ordered to do community service for the offence instead of serving a jail term.
A Romanian airliner has crashed, killing all 59 people on board. The Tarom Airlines Airbus crashed in bad weather a few minutes after taking off from Bucharest airport. Some reports suggest the plane, which was bound for Brussels, may have exploded in mid-air. An investigation into the cause of the crash is now underway. A secondary school in Sheffield has been destroyed by fire. It's thought it may have been started deliberately. The fire started in the main building of the Waltheoff School in the Manor Park area at around 10 o'clock last night. Firefighters are still at the scene. They say it could take several days to dampen the site down. And that's all for now. The next news is at midday.
Hello, good morning. Here are the headlines. Preparations are underway for the evacuation of residents in Portland as experts defuse a huge World War II bomb discovered under a playing field. More than 4,000 people have been asked to leave their homes for the weekend. It's hoped they'll be able to return by Monday. A Reading councillor is organising Britain's first ever convention for black and Asian councillors today. Rajinder Sopal set up the convention after conducting a survey showing that councillors from ethnic minorities suffered disturbing levels of racial abuse. Thorn EMI is selling its defence electronics business Thorn Sensors to Raycal Electronics for £18 million. Thorn Sensors employs 1,100 people with a large plant at Crawley. Raycal plans to merge it with its radar defence division. Holiday flights from Bournemouth to Croatia are to take off for the first time since the start of the Balkan War. They'll boost business at the airport, but many people are worried that fighting in Bosnia could soon spill over into tourist areas. And emergency planners from all over Britain are in Reading today looking at ways of dealing with the trauma of disasters like the Lockerbie air crash. In the next half hour, Radio Berkshire will be talking to rescue workers about their experiences of crises.
Some people have been very naughty. They've done some horribly wicked things.
Put them on, have a look.
I was looking forward to seeing them down here. Except someone's been hearing their confessions.
Join Simon Mayo for the most unimaginable true stories.
Tell you that.
Confessions begins tomorrow at 7:10 on BBC1.
It's one hell of a show.
Morning again.
And hello to Peter Cockcroft. You all right, Peter?
Hello there, Nick.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice
Nice to see you, Anne.
Oh, thanks very
You're
much,
only good
Peter.
at counselling because Derek Norman from Huntington's got a problem, and I hope you can help.
Oh, dear.
Says, I think the weather forecast should be given in Fahrenheit. It's a better indication of temperature change. I'm sure the majority of the population would prefer it that way, particularly the older viewers. What do other people think? So why can't we have them in Celsius and Fahrenheit?
What's this say here, then?
Oh, don't give me that. You've done that specially, haven't you? Why don't you do it anymore?
Well, we do throw the odd conversion in, but of course now these days they don't even teach it at school, so the next generation won't know anything about Fahrenheit at all.
Part of our heritage, old chap. Got
Well,
to keep
Fahrenheit is. Well, Kelvin would be better, wouldn't it, after Lord Kelvin? But then we'd have to add 273 to everything, and that really would be confusing.
280 Kelvin. Doesn't sound right, does it, really?
But is it true that it actually gives a more detailed idea of the fluctuation in the weather, if you see what I mean?
Temperatures.
Something like that.
I don't think so. I mean, I've grown up with Celsius, and you know, I'm used to it. I didn't see the.
You're just pretending you're young now. And what's it going to be like this weekend, then?
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely glorious. We're going to see some sunshine. Not very sunny at the moment, though. You can see rather a lot of cloud. But it is beginning to break up, honest, it is beginning to break up and thin. It is going to hang around some of our northern and western coasts all day, though, but for central and eastern areas, it will brighten up, the sunshine will break through, and it will feel quite warm today. A little bit of drizzle for Anglesey and also for the Cumbrian Fells. Some more persistent drizzly rain affecting the northwestern coasts of both Northern Ireland and Scotland, and perhaps the odd bit of rain getting across the mountains onto the eastern side of Scotland in a rather blustery wind. In fact, that wind's going to be quite blustery on the eastern side of the Pennines as well. Fairly gusty conditions there. No problems with frost tonight. Good news again for Stefan. He'll be pleased about that. And then into the weekend, it looks pretty good, especially for southeastern parts. It looks as though the weather is going to be ideal for watching the sport, although it may be a bit warm at 18 degrees for the rowers during Saturday afternoon. And what's that? The mid-60s Fahrenheit. And then on Sunday, well, again, a warm day. Once again, a lot of sunshine around. A little bit cooler in the morning, though. So if you are in the marathon, it's probably a good idea to get it over with rather quickly if you can. Do 26 miles, it's rather a long way. But if you are dressed up, I think you will find it pretty warm. So it's looking pretty good. Now back to Anne and Nick.
Thanks, Peter, very much, and welcome back to another hour of Good Morning. We've a lineup that's going to keep you ahead of the rest between now and midday.
Yep, ahead of the country, our special guest John Major. He'll be joining us in a couple of moments.
Our consumer reporter Will Hanrahan tackles your consumer problems at 11:30.
And American actor Jeff Daniels tells all about his latest box office smash, Dumb and Dumber, at 10 to 12.
Meanwhile, Stefan is busy sorting out your calls ready for today's spring gardening phone-in.
And he's back to take those calls live at around 25 to 12, so that's the time of our phone-in, 25 to 12.
Now, over the last 5 years, our next guest has definitely had a major influence on everyone's lives.
Love him or hate him, you can't fail to know who he is.
Mr. Major, welcome.
Good morning.
Heady times we saw there. But do you sort of feel a bit haunted at the moment by the fact they're talking about you losing the support of your party? I mean, do you ever sit down and think, is it all worth it?
Well, no, I don't, frankly. I mean, it's a story that reappears from time to time. I think whenever there's an empty day and an empty page, it's a good story to write. So, frankly, I've lived through this in 92, 93, 94, 95. And so, no, it doesn't especially bother me now.
Did anyone ever sit you down and say, look, this is what it's going to be like? If you're going to go for high office, they're going to knock you and it's going to hurt?
No, they're certainly not. But I'm a realist about these matters. I've been in politics in one form or another since I was 16. It can be a tough trade. It's a very rewarding trade. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy what you can do with politics. But it isn't easy, and sometimes there are some tough times as well as easy times, but you have to live with that.
Does Mrs. Major ever say, look, I can't stand this anymore?
No. No. I was a young councillor in Lambeth when Norma and I met, and Norma has grown up with politics. She isn't instinctively a political animal. That's not Norma's main interest. We don't talk politics at home. We have more important things to talk about there. But no, Norma's been a tremendous support, but she doesn't...